Have you ever felt the weight of invisible hands pulling you back, despite your tireless dedication and unwavering resolve? It's not a coincidence, it's deliberate. A rejection spell is at play, cast by those around you who fear your potential. They've set barriers, intent on keeping you stagnant. You, the chosen, are their target, because your rise threatens their control. The rejection spell begins long before you recognize it, quietly woven into the shadows of your past by those who once occupied significant space in your life. These individuals, exes, family members, narcissists, have tasted your potential and have been consumed by the fear of what you might become without their influence. Their motives are sinister but simple. They want control. You are the beacon they wish to extinguish, the threat they cannot afford to let shine. This spell is not crafted with cauldrons and chants. It's more insidious, like a fog clinging to your every step. They've unleashed it through sharp words left unspoken, resentments clinging to your energy like parasites, and memories that feel like thorns in your skin. They've poisoned the air around you, so even when you're in a room full of people you feel their disdain, an invisible hand pushing others away. It's as if a dense, suffocating cloud forms before you, so thick that no one can see your worth through it. This rejection isn't random, it's deliberate, it's calculated. It was conjured to warp the perception others have of you, turning admiration into indifference, opportunities into closed doors. You feel its weight on your shoulders, a crushing pressure that's difficult to name. It manifests in every missed call, every unanswered email, every door that's slammed shut just before you reach it. But that's not by accident. Those responsible for casting this spell want you to believe the world is against you, that you're invisible, unworthy, destined to fail. They have painted rejection across your soul in bold strokes, ensuring that no matter how hard you strive, every move you make feels met with resistance. The why is simple. These people are terrified of your evolution. They see in you what they could never be. Power, brilliance, potential to outgrow them in every conceivable way. To keep you trapped in the past, tethered to their chaos, they hurl rejection your way like spears aimed at your heart. It's not enough that they no longer stand beside you. They want to make sure no one else does either. Their curse is a cage, a ceiling above your head that they've constructed, hoping you will never dare to reach beyond it. But the truth is that this spell is fragile, weak against the power of your truth. These people, whether consciously or not, have laced your path with invisible traps. Their motivations are selfish, their desires malignant. They want to keep you chained to a past version of yourself, one they could control, manipulate, and bend to their will. In their twisted minds, your progress signals their defeat, as if your triumph would crumble the fragile walls of their ego. To them, your growth is a threat, a mirror held up to the fact that they've remained stagnant, unchanged, and lost in their own failures. They are the architects of a prison they hope you will never escape. The spell takes many forms. Sometimes it's subtle, words of doubt whispered behind your back, a smear on your reputation that spreads like oil on water. Other times it's more overt, a direct assault on your opportunities, perhaps even financial sabotage or social manipulation. They pull strings behind the scenes, casting doubt in the minds of those who might open doors for you, planting seeds of mistrust that blossom into rejection before you even realize the garden has turned against you. They twist perception like a blacksmith twists metal, forging a narrative in which you are always the outsider, always overlooked. And they do this because they can't imagine a life where they no longer control your destiny. The fear that drives them is not just about losing you, but losing the power they once held over you. Without that power, they are left to confront their own mediocrity, their own lack of ambition, and the void that your absence will leave behind. So they weave this rejection spell, hoping to stunt your growth, to isolate you from the world, to turn every ally into an enemy. They revel in your setbacks because each one reaffirms their own twisted sense of control. But the truth is this: their efforts are born of weakness, not strength. They know deep down that your light cannot be dimmed forever. The spell may distort your path, but it cannot stop you from walking it. Despite the intensity of your will and the relentless effort you pour into every step forward, This rejection spell acts like a heavy shroud cast over your existence, twisting reality to work against you. Just as you reach for success, it slams doors in your face, not by accident, but by design. This spell doesn't merely disrupt, it warps the world around you, so even the moments of triumph you fought for slip through your fingers like ash in the wind. You are constantly met with situations where relationships fracture at their peak, not because of any fault of your own, but because the spell stirs doubt and mistrust in the minds of those around you. Friendships you've nurtured for years suddenly collapse, the ground beneath them eroding without warning. It's as though invisible hands are pulling at the seams of your life, unraveling everything just as it reaches its most meaningful point. Every connection feels fragile, ready to disintegrate, not because of something you've done, but because the energy projected onto you sours the air between you and others, leaving them uneasy, skeptical, distant. Opportunities that should be yours by right, job offers, promotions, even casual invitations, vanish just as they are within reach. You find yourself in a constant cycle of proving your worth, only to be dismissed at the last moment, as if someone has whispered your name with venom on their lips, casting doubt in the minds of those in power. It's not your qualifications or your talent that's questioned, it's you, as if an unseen force has wrapped you in an aura of mistrust, making you appear unreliable, unworthy, undesirable. The people responsible for this spell have drenched you in negativity, a cloak of dark energy that weighs on you even when you're unaware. Their intentions cling to you like shadows, distorting how others perceive you. They've poisoned the perception of your character, not through direct confrontation, but by subtly twisting the minds of those around you. It's as if their bitterness has seeped into the very ground you walk on, leaving a trail of rejection in every space you occupy, making even the most familiar places hostile, the friendliest faces cold. And through it all, you ask yourself, why? Why does everything collapse just as you begin to rise? It's because the spell is working exactly as it was intended. Those who cast it want you isolated, unseen and unappreciated. They want you to doubt your own worth, to believe the rejection is your fault. They aim to cripple your spirit so you never realize the truth, that you were meant to rise all along. The Most High has seen the battles you face, every obstacle laid in your path, every rejection that seems to claw at your progress. But understand this, the resistance you feel is not without purpose. It's not a punishment, but a preparation. The hardships you've encountered, the delays in your finances, the faltering of relationships, the stagnation in your career, these are the crucibles that forge your strength, honing your resilience for the immense blessings to come. The rejection, no matter how relentless, is a tool being used to shape you for something far greater than you can fathom. You are not forgotten. Every closed door, every opportunity that slipped away just as you reached for it, was the divine hand at work, clearing the debris of what doesn't serve you. Each setback has been a deliberate step in a larger plan, a cosmic alignment that you may not yet fully understand. Those delays, they are the space being created for something beyond your current grasp. The divine is making room in your life for blessings that will dwarf the disappointments you've faced, for opportunities that couldn't have fit into the spaces you've previously occupied. Know that the rejection you've experienced is not an indication of your worth, but a test of your endurance. It's a refining fire, burning away the superficial, the inauthentic, the unnecessary. You are being tempered, transformed into something unbreakable. The challenges you face are sharpening your edges, turning you into a force that can no longer be ignored. The divine is not just watching idly, it is orchestrating a future where you are stronger, wiser, and prepared to carry the immense blessings that are coming your way. When your time arrives, and it will arrive, the spell that has blocked your path will be shattered, the barriers built to contain you will crumble, and the weight of the rejection spell will evaporate like smoke. A single piece of your destiny, when released, will set off a chain reaction, a domino effect that unleashes unstoppable blessings. Each blessing will knock down another, creating an avalanche of abundance that the forces against you cannot withstand. The very energy used to hold you back will propel you forward, and nothing will be able to stop the momentum of your rise. This is the divine's plan for you. The delays are not denials but preparations for the blessings you are meant to carry. The spell may have stifled you for a time, but it cannot and will not contain the power that is your destiny. When the Most High moves, all resistance falls away, and your true purpose will shine brighter than ever before. Every force set against you is temporary, no matter how relentless or suffocating it feels. This rejection spell, crafted to keep you stagnant, has an expiration date. It was never meant to last forever, no matter how powerful it seems. There is a moment coming swiftly when it will shatter like glass beneath a crushing wave. The spell, cast with the intent to keep you hidden, isolated and struggling, is already weakening under the weight of its own darkness. The universe will not tolerate its existence much longer. The rejection you've endured, the countless setbacks and betrayals, are nearing their final moments. Every failure you've faced, every door slammed shut, is part of a larger countdown. When the spell breaks, and it will break, it will not be a gradual lifting of the burden. No, it will be like a dam bursting after years of pressure, swift, unstoppable and devastating in its power. You will feel the surge of everything that was meant for you, but has been withheld, rushing towards you all at once. Opportunities you thought were lost forever will resurface, and not just as fleeting chances, but as concrete offers that align with your deepest ambitions. Success will no longer slip from your grasp. Instead, it will find you, pull you up, and propel you into a future you've long deserved. The isolation you once felt will dissolve, replaced by meaningful connections and genuine love. Where there was cold distance, there will be warmth and support. The spell's expiration will reveal how deeply you were always meant to be seen, valued and appreciated. And for those who cast this curse upon you, they will not escape unscathed. The energy they sent to suffocate your growth will return to them, magnified. The world they once stood so confidently on will crack beneath their feet. Their attempts to sabotage you will be their undoing. As you ascend, as your light breaks through the barriers they tried to erect, they will be forced to witness your rise, helpless as their own lives unravel. Their power, built on manipulation and deceit, will crumble like a house of cards under the weight of truth. This is the natural order. Darkness cannot hold the light forever. The rejection spell, no matter how potent it seems, has an end. The time of its control is coming to a close. You will rise as it collapses, and those who sought to bind you will be left in the ruins of their own making, unable to stop the inevitable flood of success and love that was always yours to claim. There will come a moment, sharp as lightning, when those who wronged you will be struck by a realization so piercing it will shake them to their core. These are the ones who, under the influence of the rejection spell, allowed their actions to be guided by doubt, resentment, or even cruelty. They turned away from you, not because of who you are, but because their perception had been clouded. Now, as the weight of the spell begins to lift, clarity will strike them with the force of a tidal wave. They will look at you, truly see you, and the question that haunts them will rise unbidden. Why did I do that? Their mistreatment of you was not born of their own true will. They were puppets to the dark energy that surrounded you, guided by strings they could not see. The spell fed them lies, sowed seeds of mistrust in their minds, convincing them to act in ways that now, with the spell's grip loosening, they cannot comprehend. They will remember every cold word, every door they slammed in your face, and wonder what possessed them to turn against you when you offered nothing but light. Their memories will sting, the echoes of their decisions reverberating in their minds like an unstoppable drumbeat of regret. For some, this realization will be unbearable. They will try to rewrite the past in their minds, searching for a justification that no longer holds weight. Their guilt will cling to them like chains, each link forged by their own actions. These individuals may never approach you, too paralyzed by their shame, watching from the shadows as your rise outpaces their ability to make amends. They will be left to wrestle with the burden of their own conscience, weighed down by the knowledge that they played a role in your suffering. Yet, others may seek a different path. As the veil of illusion dissipates, they will recognize the magnitude of their mistakes and some will be compelled to make it right. They will attempt to reconcile, drawn by a need to heal what they've broken. Their apologies may be sincere, but their motives vary. Some will come to you out of genuine remorse, while others will be desperate to align themselves with your newfound strength, hoping that forgiveness will absolve them of the consequences. Regardless of how they choose to act, the spell's expiration will be their reckoning. The truth will no longer be obscured, and they will be left to face the full weight of what they've done. Unable to hide behind the influence of the spell, you, however, will no longer need their validation. Their moment of clarity is theirs to bear, while your rise remains inevitable and unstoppable. Those who cast the rejection spell over your life have always operated from a place of ego. They believed they could control your destiny, that by manipulating the forces around you, they could hold you back, tether you to their version of reality. They mistook their illusion of power for actual control, unaware that the moment the spell cracks, everything they've built upon it would crumble beneath them. They are not prepared for what's coming, for the inevitable collapse of the very foundation on which their ego rests. Their spell, once a veil that concealed your light, is not eternal. As it weakens, they will feel its power slipping through their fingers like sand, and with it, the false security they've built around their fragile sense of self. The energy they directed towards stifling your growth will turn back on them, and the rejection they tried to cast upon you will coil around them like a serpent. Their world, once constructed of arrogance and control, will fracture. Every lie they've spun will unravel, and they will be left exposed, standing in the ruins of their own creation. Their ego, which convinced them they could bend fate to their will collapse under the weight of its own arrogance. The harm they caused, the energy they sent out to bind you, will return to them, magnified. It will strike them in the places they believed were untouchable, shattering the illusions they so desperately cling to. They will taste the bitterness of the rejection they once imposed on you, not as a passing discomfort, but as a complete dismantling of their self-worth. Their ego, once inflated with the false belief in their superiority, will deflate with such force that it will leave them hollow, uncertain, and lost. They will not be prepared for the karmic return of their actions. As they watch you rise, unburdened and stronger than ever, they will be forced to confront the emptiness within themselves. The very control they sought over your life will be their undoing. Their carefully constructed world will fall apart, piece by piece, and they will have nothing left to cling to but the realization of their failure. They will come to understand that they never had the power they thought they wielded. This collapse will not be quiet or gentle. It will be a cataclysmic reckoning, the undoing of everything they believed made them superior. As you ascend, they will descend into the chaos they once tried to impose upon you. Their ego will break under the weight of the karmic consequences, and they will be left to face the devastation they wrought. You've walked through the fires of rejection, faced setbacks that seem almost orchestrated against you, and they were. The forces that sought to dim your light, to control your destiny, were never as powerful as they appeared. They played their hand, thinking they could break you, but in truth, every obstacle was a refining force, sharpening you for what is coming. The rejection wasn't a sign of your inadequacy. It was a reaction to your brilliance, a reflection of others' inability to accept what they could never control. The divine process isn't always kind, but it is always purposeful. The delays, the frustrations, the moments that pushed you to the edge of doubt, they all carry meaning. Spirit sees your struggle, but also sees the strength you've built in the face of it. Your time is coming, and when it does, the power that has always been within you will be undeniable. Those who doubted you, who worked against you, will see you rise with a force they cannot comprehend. Hold your ground, keep your faith, trust in the process that is bigger than the obstacles before you. You are meant for far more than what you've been led to believe, and nothing can stop the blessings that are already on their way to you. Now it's time to speak your truth. Share your story. Let the world know how you've risen through the darkness and how, despite it all, you remain unstoppable. Your voice is the very thing that will break any remaining chains.